age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations with the community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
Hey there! We got some beautiful programming here on Rainier Avenue Radio for your holiday season.
We have incredible programming right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. So much to offer. Music, shows.
K-Fox Night Beat, Fresh Juice, mental health awareness for men.
Why change the channel? Just keep it locked in on Rainier Avenue Radio. Jazz from the cabinets, playing jazz music, and Star Time playing holiday music. We got a new show on the air as well.
Weekend House Party.
Weekend House Party.
Weekend House Party.
And all of our other familiar programs as well.
The Reggae Hour, Phil Am Radio Show, and LidLine Sports.
Along with our special A Christmas Carol.
It's an actual radio drama that was recorded by Rainier Avenue Radio hosts and staff, featuring the president of a large media company, visited by 3 ghosts, past, present, and future.
A Christmas Carol, a classic for us.
Bring in the holidays with your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
TikTok, it's 7 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time for LidLine Sports. Oh, crap. That's what the people in Philly are saying as Seattle just scored a touchdown to tie the ball game at 10-10. Hello, everybody. I am Pep. Oh, is not here. He's got coaching duties tonight. So we've got MC, Mr. Michael Carter, in his stead. What's happening, MC?
Yeah, just another night.
Yes. So right now, the Seattle Seahawks and the Philly Eagles fly, Eagles fly. And I'm saying fly, Eagles fly for the Cleveland Eagles, which Mr. O is assisting as coach tonight. And so I hope they do well tonight. So if I say fly Eagles fly, I'm talking about the Cleveland Eagles, not the Philly Eagles. So don't get all, get all frowny and mad and stuff like that. So I hope everyone had a spectacular weekend. My weekend was quite busy. And then, of course, I just want to say that this is our last show of 2023. So after tonight, we're going to take a 2-week hiatus. And we will be back on the air January the 8th. Mark your calendars, 2024, 7 p.m. And folks, you know what I'd like to see in 2024? I would like to see different names on our chat box. I mean, I love seeing the regulars. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love the Bill Walker Jr.'s, the Nancy Conyers, the Rhonda Dorseys, of course, and so on and so forth. You know I love that. But I want to see some names that I don't know, or maybe I do know but haven't seen on the chat box. So if you could tell a friend or two, say, hey, or 3 if they listen in, or have them listen in if you know some sports minded people. We all got friends that are sports minded, so I'd like to have them join the show or listen to the show and then join some chat. They don't have to, of course, you don't have to get on every week and chat, of course, but I would just like to see you every now and then and give us some shout outs and just, hey, you might want to chime in on some good topics. So so let's do that for 2024 coming up. MC.
Hey.
I'm feeling like Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yes, and I'm giving the floor to you right now.
Bah
Bam.
humbug. No. Hello, everybody out there. I'm going to start it off with, for me, it was awesome seeing Tiger Woods and his son, Charlie, play in the PNC championship, which used to be called the Sons and Fathers Championship.
Oh, okay.
But what made it even more special was to have his daughter caddying. So it was like a family affair for him.
Oh, that is awesome.
Exactly. But, you know, they didn't win. They took 5th place, but it was just awesome to see him out there and with his son. And I think he's going to be a chip off the old block because he's looking real good I think he's 14, you know, and he was making some shots, even surprising Tiger. Tiger was like, whoa, you know.
Yeah,
so,
didn't he fire off a 365-yard drive?
Something like that. It was a 260 250 or 260 par.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he hit it for 263. He hit it into the green.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. That's
so,
what
right.
Okay.
And
good correction. Thank you.
But he hit a long birdie that even shot. It was, you know, not on the green. It was in the rough, and he hit a long birdie. Charlie did, and it was a nice shot. It was like, whoa, you know. And he got that same arm movement, and you know, the same kind of gestures.
Mm-hmm.
He stands like it's there, so you could tell he's been watching a lot of film and studying.
Yeah.
Know, chip off the old block, you know. But it was just great seeing that. Did you get a chance to read up on it or see it?
I actually did not, but I did see a couple of
highlights.
No, I saw some stuff like on Facebook. I
Okay.
saw a couple of articles on it, and
Okay.
I just read some captions and whatnot. So
yeah, you know me. You know how I've always been well-rounded with sports. I'll watch tennis, fishing, whatever. If it's somebody that I know or you know, an event that I like, and
sure.
And you know, I tuned in and watched a little bit of it. And it's just great to see that. And then at the end they took a picture. It was Tiger and Charlie and John Daly and his son.
Oh, okay.
Which was pretty cool. You know, it was pretty awesome to see the fathers and sons. And
were they dressed alike?
Who, Tiger and Charlie?
Well, you know, the fathers and sons.
No, I don't think John's son, Daly's son, golfed because he was in a suit.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just he was just there at the event with his son, and so yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to chime in on that, and then real quick, I'd like to chime in. For me, I was glad that you guys mentioned it last week that the UW women's team is 11-0.
Yep.
But they're ranked like 23rd or 22nd or 23rd, and I just don't get it. I don't know how they do these rankings because there's teams with two losses, 1 loss that are in the top 10. So I don't know if they go by.
Well, if it's like Louisville or something, you know, I can understand.
Oh, Utah's above them.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you know, I can understand if it's some perennial powers.
Oh, yeah, like UConn or South Carolina. I mean, you know, teams like that. And Duke or whatever. But I looked at it, and Utah's up there, and I'm like, and they got like I think 1 or 2 losses, and I'm like, so are they going from last year's strength or I don't
even remember what Utah did last year for the women.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Daly Jr. did play, so I just seen a picture afterwards that he was in a suit.
Oh, Daly, John Daly.
Yeah, John Daly's son did play. Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
I didn't catch it, but I just seen the 4 taking a picture afterwards, and his son was in a suit, so he looked kind of nerdy. So I was like, I don't know if he golfed or not, but that's good that his son golfed. You know.
Word.
Yeah. So
sounds good.
Yeah. So what you got, man?
Well, you know, we can get into the NBA real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, for O, because O's not here. So I always want to make sure I get some NBA coverage in.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was looking over at the standings before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know who the number 2 team? Now, Boston has the best record at 20-5.
Correct.
Do you know who the number 2 team is? I was shocked because
for the Eastern Conference.
No, overall, I had zero idea until I saw this. I'm like, what?
The Milwaukee Bucks?
No, it is not.
Who is it?
It is the Minnesota Timberwolves at 19-5.
20-5.
Well, they must have won tonight then.
Yeah, there's 20-5. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, overall. Yeah, okay. I see.
Yes.
I was going by conference. But
so man, they balling.
Yeah.
But I want to say something about Anthony Edwards, what he said, what he was quoted as saying a few days ago about saying, well, I don't even think, Jordan can guard me, in his prime. And, let's just put a stop to that right now, because Michael Jordan, look, I don't want to get into this Jordan, Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. I don't want to get into none of that.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, when it comes to who you think the GOAT is, it's obvious it's Jordan, because everybody wants to compare themselves to what Jordan is doing or had done, right? So, I mean, Anthony Edwards could have said, well, I don't think Kobe could have guarded me, or I don't think Wilt could have taken me.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, who did you want to be like?
Oh, well, it changed a lot because, as a kid.
Well, just give me one player that you think
The
you
Iceman.
Okay. And then as you got a little older, I'm trying to get to a point. So I'm trying to build it up to a point. No, you don't. No, you're all right. Don't be sorry. But so then you got a little older, because I know who your favorite player was, because, we hooped together as kids. Mm-hmm. But when you got a little older in your 20s or 30s, who did you like?
Oh, in my 20s and well,
who did you think was like, oh man,
college, I thought it was Len Bias was going to be.
Oh yeah,
I thought he was going to be the guy.
Of course,
but we all know what happened with that.
So
of course Jordan. He wasn't my favorite guy,
right?
But I always thought that he was the standard.
Well, for me, Jordan, I don't do the GOAT things or the Mount Rushmore things, because it's different eras and different times. And Jordan, Kobe was in his own right, Magic Johnson in his own right. I could keep naming players.
Of course you can.
Off the top of my head. But I think the NBA uplifted Jordan and made him the face of the NBA, which helps him to be the GOAT. But if you look at players that were just serious ballers, I mean, you there's factors for every team, for every player. You take away Pippen. Let's just take Pippen away from the Bulls, or even Rodman.
Right.
What do you think that he would still have been so dominant?
Well, yeah, because look, as a rookie, he was dominant. When he came in the league as a rookie, and then the following year when he made his first playoff performance, when because he got hurt his sophomore year. So his first playoff performance, he scored 63 points against the Celtics, the best team in the world at that time. Right. And Jordan, what I'm saying about Anthony Edwards was saying that Jordan couldn't guard him is ridiculous, because Jordan was Defensive Player of the Year.
I stand with you 100%.
I mean, come on, man. Right? I mean, yes. He'd lock you up.
There's players nowadays that run their mouths and say things that are outlandish all the time.
And of course,
that was very outlandish.
Of course, LeBron's gonna have to get used to that too, because guess what? There's gonna be some guy after, in the next 10 years,
right?
That's gonna be so dope, and he's gonna be like, oh yeah, LeBron can't take. Yeah, if LeBron was still here, I'd be killing him, or whatever they would be saying. Who knows?
Right.
But that's just how it goes. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Correct.
So if you're wearing the crown, you're gonna get somebody's gonna be coming after you,
right? Regardless.
But I just don't like a lot of these players just saying that, because for one thing, there's no way to prove it, right? I mean, it ain't gonna happen,
right?
So
they're not going to play one-on-one, or they're not going to get a team and put it against it. It's just everybody's speculation and opinion, and that's good. That's good for talk, But I just don't do the GOAT thing. I really don't.
I'm with you on it. I don't like it
in any sport. I just don't do. Now, let me take that back. I'll go back. There are sports that I do say I feel there was a GOAT, because there are individual sports like golf. It's one-on-one. It's the golfer and the ball against other golfers, and
bowling.
And tennis. Those
definitely.
That like Arthur Ashe, or Stan Smith, or
Williams sisters.
Yeah, Serena. Yeah, the Williams sister.
Martina.
Exactly.
we can go on and on.
Right. So you can say in those individual sports where it's just mono track. Hey, it's me and you. But in football or basketball, it is a lot of factors. If you take a certain amount of players off of a team,
Right.
it's gonna that player is gonna not be as good as they were. It's just the way it is.
Right.
One player can't take on 4 or 5. So it's just everybody's opinion of who they think the GOAT is, and I'm not gonna say your opinion is any worse than mine.
Yeah.
But I just don't get into that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have my opinion. I think, me personally, I think Jordan's the best.
Mhm.
But like I've seen plenty to be able to form that opinion for myself.
Right.
I mean, I was alive when Wilt was dominant. Right.
Right. We've seen him play. Right.
So yeah, we saw Lou Alcindor before he became Kareem.
We've seen so many eras of basketball.
Yes.
That it's from Walt Frazier and Pete Maravich, and I could keep going on in different eras.
Right.
That we can make a judgmental comment and have some validity to it, because I've been to games where I've seen Michael Jordan personally. There's a lot of kids that haven't. They just go by videos and so forth. But we've seen Kareem. We've seen a lot of players.
Doc.
Magic. I could keep going
in person.
Clyde Drexler. Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I could keep going on. The games that I've actually been to and seen.
Me too.
But
right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but and not just in Seattle. When I traveled around, when I lived in Cali or wherever I lived, I go to games.
Yeah.
So I've been to the Rose Bowl as a kid watching games when people up here didn't really know about the Rose Bowl.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. For us, we can be. You can say that's how you feel about Jordan, and I'll respect that a lot, because I know how much you loved basketball like me as a kid,
right?
And we followed so many players, So
oh man, but we can name obscure players that a lot of these kids today have no clue on how good they were.
Right?
Like I can tell you about John Drew.
Right.
He played with the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
I mean, man, please,
Right.
So, Terry Cummings.
Right.
So, man, Austin Carr.
Right.
Right. Dave Bing.
Right.
Bobby Dandridge.
We've seen college games, real life college games, that players that didn't make it into the pros after college that should have, but they would have dominated in the pros.
Man.
But back then, there was a lot of drugs. There's still that now, alcohol and drugs and things for them to get sidetracked, and some of them didn't make it. Great street ball players, but never made it to the league.
Raymond Lewis from LA.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Man, it's just, man. So it just bothers me when we got guys like Anthony Edwards, who's a great player in his own right. And then saying somebody can't guard. Then he turns around the next game,
lays a goose egg.
He gets locked up.
Yeah,
so come on, man.
Right.
Man, I can't stand that.
I know. I seen that and I was like, it just makes me shake my head. Say, yeah, see, run in your mouth.
Run in your mouth.
Instead of being humble and just do your thing, you run in your mouth and it'll bite them,
So what's going on with the Golden State Warriors? We already know about Draymond. Curry seems to be in a slump now. He had 7 points against Portland last night.
Right.
7.
I know.
But they won. Why? Because Klay Thompson's finally got hot.
Exactly.
Because last week or two, Klay Thompson got called out, and he called himself out.
Right.
So which I got mad respect for.
Right.
He said, you know what? You're right. I suck right now. So the last couple of games, he's got 30, and then he had 28 last night, I think. So, it looks like he might be back on track. But, of course, Curry's, off the mark.
I read an article today that Steph Curry has a better shooting average than Steph.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But and I read another good article about I just was looking it up. How many players have scored over 50 points this year, right? What do you think the number is?
Ooh, man.
Just for 2023, how many players do you think have scored over 50 points?
I'll just say 10. I'll just give it.
You're close, 15.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
that is a lot. In the last few games, I've seen some guys killing. I'm like me and you have a running joke about the Sacramento every year, and it's just like we do about the fakes. And but I hate to say, Sacramento's got some ballers. They're looking good.
Well, so are the fakes. We got
they
it.
Are. They are.
And folks, if you don't know who we're talking about, when we say fakes, we're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder, who we don't call them by that name. We call them the Oklahoma Fake Sonics.
Exactly. Just like the Milwaukee Brewers in MLB for years.
Yeah.
We used to.
I couldn't stand it.
No. Yeah.
Because they took
stale
our
coffee.
Away.
Exactly.
But most of you folks are way too young to even know what's going on there.
I'm giving away our age.
We try not to go back that far. But yeah, the Fake Sonics are balling. I like Chet. And of course, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's balling. So we can like individual players and not the organization itself. Right. Yes.
And that it's kind of like Dallas Cowboys. I really don't like the Dallas Cowboys at all, the organization and the owner, but I do like their running back Pollard, and I do like the receiver they have.
And I will give them their just due. Like the past few weeks, they've been probably, other than San Francisco, they've been the best team. Right. Now they got a little comeuppance yesterday.
Right.
We'll get into some NFL a little bit, after the break. But
let me say something real fast to make everybody laugh out there in the radio world.
Here we go.
I just seen it because Rhonda said the pilots. We know, Pepe, when the Milwaukee Brewers took our pilots away from us, Pepe shed a tear. He cried as a kid.
I was 8. And we had, listen, man.
Come on, man.
I was 8 years old, and we had, and I went to games.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because
pilot games.
I know.
I was thinking this was going to be years and years of doing this. And plus, the stadium was 5 minutes from my house.
How far was the stadium from my house?
2
minutes. I could watch the games in my living room.
Yes.
And so when we lost the pilots, I was like,
man, I was devastated, man.
I threw my mitt on the ground. I was stomping around in my house. My dad said, "Boy, if you don't quit, I'll." So I had to go in my room and do the whole. But yeah, it was a sad day for us.
Man, it was nothing but hate for the Brewers. And then when the Brewers made the World Series in '82,
oh God,
I was 21. I was still mad.
Exactly.
Like, man, forget you, man. I hope you don't win. And they didn't. I was so glad they lost.
Right. Oh, me too. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Man, shoot. And back then they were in the American League.
Right.
Right. Because they lost to, I want to say, St. Louis.
That was the good old days, though. We had the Six Stadium, and we had the Coliseum.
Yep. And then the Kingdom came.
Kingdom came shortly after that.
We were about, let's see, Kingdom came in '74, I think.
Right.
So we was about 13, 14. So yeah, I know people are doing their math in their head right now.
Yeah, Doreen, you're right. Most of us did learn how to drive in
the
parking lot.
Yes.
Not only cars, but they used to every year they would bring a container down full of Honda mini bikes, and they would have the Honda Club, and they would teach us kids how to ride the little Honda mini bikes every summer down there.
I wanted one so bad.
Oh man, I wanted one. You know what my dad did for me? I wanted one so bad. So my dad, he said, "Well, I'm gonna get you a mini bike." So one day I came home and I had a go-kart. I mean, a nice metal go-kart with the steering wheel and the brake and the gas pedal.
You should see his face lighting up.
Look, but it didn't have an engine. He said, "Now go get a job and you can put an engine in it."
Yeah, you sit there and go vroom, vroom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we rode it. Kids we push each other around in the neighborhood, but that's it. Those were the good old days.
Oh, you see, y'all listening to some old fogies right now, but that's all right. That's just.
Well, I'm giving feedback to some of our the
Ron
watchers.
Give us some cap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bill gave some cap too. He was on it.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't know that.
He's a youngster though.
Oh yeah. Compared to us, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say nothing about the women's age, but
I just said Bill. That's it.
And Bill did say that Daly's son does play, and he's a beast too.
Right.
So that's awesome that both Tiger and that Daly's sons.
Well, you know why? I'll tell you why I asked if they were dressed alike. Because
What?
I know John Daly be wearing them checkered pants and stuff.
Bro,
like
he had
that.
a sport coat on that was an American flag. It was red, white, and blue and stars. And his son was in an all black suit with a red shirt with a black tie and some black dress shoes. So
he's a little bit more less garish. So that's all right.
Right,
yes.
right.
Because John Daly be cracking me up.
Oh, drinking and smoking on the golf course.
Yeah, the cigars or whatever. Or no, those are cigarettes, I think.
Cigarettes. That's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of like football when we grew up, though. A lot of people don't realize that when we were kids and they had football games on, and there was cats that were they were promoting the cigarettes, and also Bruce. They had a beer.
Right. Oh yeah. Plus, in the NBA arenas, Red Auerbach would fire up his cigars as soon as the game was in hand. Red would fire up the stogie,
right? And
that's the ball game, folks. When he fired that thing up, it's over.
Oh, you know it.
And I hated that.
That was like the fat lady sang,
right?
When he lit that up.
Was that version of that, yeah,
right.
And folks, if you remember, back in '78 is when that saying came out. And do you know who was credited for that? Do you remember?
Credited for
operating over until the fat lady sings.
I don't.
That would be,
I do, but I can't remember.
That would be the Washington Bullets coach Dick Motta.
Oh wow!
In the series with the Seattle Seahawks, Supersonics. Oh my God,
Mr. Encyclopedia over here, Mr. Sports Knowledge. There we go.
I remember because they were saying Game 7, in Seattle,
right?
It was pretty much foregone conclusion that the Supersonics were going to win the finals, and then Dick Motta came up and said, "Look, man. The opera ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Exactly.
So, until that happens, we in it." And they won Game 7.
Right.
So
I just want to say this real quick too. So I used to work at the door at the clock out, right?
Right.
And there'd be bands, and like on some weekends they would have music for the kids, right? Mm-hmm. So I would ask the kids coming in, "Oh, who's your favorite guitar player? Or who's your favorite bass?" So now when we grew up, we had our favorite guitar player. Mine was Jimi Hendrix, of course, and we had our favorite singers and stuff. And so now that when I tell those kids that information, they just look at me. So it's kind of like the same thing in sports, where kids nowadays, if we name some of the players that we know, they would look at us with that oh wow, and that oh really, and then they would have to go see video. But I was just trying to correlate that into how things can vary, just by eras and age,
Yeah.
So,
yep. So we're going to go to break soon, in about a minute or so. But I just want to say right now, the Seattle Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles, 17-10, South Philly,
yes,
is up
Will
as
Smith.
expected. Oh, Will. He's from West Philly.
I know.
Yeah, the song West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Yeah.
So that's where one of my relatives was from, West Philly, and then I have one in North Philly, and he talks much trash. But,
of course.
But look, what can I say right now?
Yeah,
nothing.
Nada.
So it looks like if Philly wins, they're back in first place over Dallas.
Right.
Yeah. So for you Philly fans out there,
I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say for you Philly fans. As a matter of fact, I got a coworker who's a Philly fan because he's from Philly.
Okay.
So he's at the game. So I told him that they'll probably win. But look, we're gonna take a break real quick, and when we come back, we're gonna get deep into the NFL. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Paul Pearson, host of Star Time, and this is my real voice. Honest, you're hearing it on Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Should have told her you were sorry.
Your friend resting his eyes in the backseat after a few cocktails. Your sister singing her heart out on the ride home from a birthday party. Or your college buddy crashing on your couch after one edible and 3 hours of nature documentaries. What do they all have in common? They have you to make sure they don't get behind the wheel. Thanks for keeping our roads a little safer tonight, Washington. Together, we get there. A message from the Washington Traffic Safety Commission.
On Rainier Avenue Radio.world, look for the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show. I'm Dennis Weaver, your good food guide and host, helping you to feel good and look good. And who wouldn't want some of that? All that and more from the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Stories, songs, and guests. Begin living the organic good food life, and the rest of your life just may be the best of your life. Always up, baby, to your health.
This is Brenda Charles Edwards, host of Seniors Matter. Join me every week to get information on activities and issues that impact the lives of older adults and their families. That's Seniors Matter every week on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
On behalf of Rainier Avenue Radio.world and K-Fox Night Beat, we want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Maligayang Pasko at maligong bagong taon.
Welcome back to LidLine Sports. You know, at the top of the hour, Rizal Park Jazz Radio is back with Tess Curzon Cabrera. So don't turn that dial when we go off the air. Listen in to Rizal Park Jazz Radio at 8 p.m. tonight. Right now, MC, the Seahawks look like they're trying to do a little something.
They're dancing with them.
Yeah, they're not getting blown out.
No.
So, that's a good thing. I was hoping that they would keep it close. And right now they're doing a pretty good job of that.
Right.
Yeah, so, they're on a 4-game losing streak.
Yes.
Seahawks. Now, we said weeks ago that 5-game stretch with
the Rams.
The Rams, San Francisco twice,
Mm-hmm.
Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
and Philly. That was going to be a tough stretch.
Right.
And we were saying that they would be fortunate to win one. Well, they didn't win any.
Not yet.
Not yet. So, I can't say that I'm surprised because Seattle basically is a mediocre team being mediocre.
Right.
And so when you're doing that, that's what's expected.
They're stuck in their old ways, and they haven't figured out how to morph into, the LOB's over with, gone. Russell Wilson's gone. You got to morph into a new team, and Pete Carroll's just stuck in his ways, and he doesn't have the same team. Where, for me, that's why I think they need a change. They need to bring somebody young, hungry in, and change the atmosphere. And for me, I think when Geno first got injured and his arm was all bruised up and he was playing, they should have put Drew in then. That way he would have that many more reps with the first string instead of now, he's playing catch because he's playing pretty darn good ball today.
Mm-hmm.
To be
not turning it over.
Right. And good throws and managing, they're in striking distance.
Right. There you go.
And I
see, folks, this is I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have to say this.
No, go ahead.
This is typical what you want from your backup quarterback. You don't need him to be the hero.
Right.
You need him to keep the game close.
Yes.
Stay within striking distance.
Yes.
Not turn the ball over.
Yes.
And then see what happens.
That doesn't even have to just pertain to backups. I can even give you another example of a starting quarterback. Two of them. Patrick Mahomes, he's in his slump. But he knows what he has to do. Okay, I have to minimize my turnovers, even though his receivers are dropping the ball and everything. But I'll give you another prime example. Josh Allen. He's not everybody's making him this great quarterback and everything. He's a good quarterback.
Yes.
When he plays and manages without turnovers and trying to do too much, they do damage.
Yes.
But when he tries to do too much, what happens? Yeah. And that's where Geno's at. Geno, he had that good year, and then the next year after, which is this year, he hit his ceiling. So he's getting frustrated, and you can see when he messes up, what does he do? He hangs his head, or he does this little, funny act, and he goes and sits and pouts on the bench instead of saying, "Okay, now all I got to do is get in there, make some good passes, no turnovers, and he would be all right." But he's not going to do that because he's happy feet. He gets back there, he gets happy feet, and unfortunately, we know Pete won't evolve. You're right, Bill, but old guys get stuck in their ways, and coaches especially. That could go in any sport. When they have a system and they've won and they've done good things with it, they stick with it over and over until they're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
And
the difference between the starter or let me put it this way, your upper echelon elite quarterback,
right,
is when they try to do too much, they actually succeed more often than not.
Right.
And that's why they are who they are.
They do.
Like Mahomes and now Purdy. We got to put him in that upper echelon.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Even Dak Prescott, even though he had a bad game pretty much yesterday, it wasn't because of him though.
No,
they couldn't stop the run.
No, their defense, yeah.
And Josh Allen didn't even have to throw 100 yards.
And as good as Brady was when he played, he had bad games.
Yes.
All elite and upper echelon QBs have bad games.
Yeah.
And some of them have consecutive bad games.
Right.
But then they know how to throttle it down and then throttle it back up.
Yes. But when you're the backup, you can't have bad games.
No, you can't.
You gotta maintain.
Right.
That's why you gotta be. That's why a lot of coaches are pretty conservative with the playbook.
Right.
On the backups.
Yeah,
because,
it gets
because they give them just enough.
Right.
To get things working.
Right.
And to keep them close.
Right. They dumb it down just enough.
Thank you.
For them to be able to not have to overexert themselves and not overthink.
But however, if they're going to be the starter for an extended period, then that's when they have to start opening up the playbook more and more and more because look, they got no choice.
They have to.
Right. Like for instance, Jake Browning.
Right.
Joe Burrow's been out.
Right.
When Jake Browning first took over, first game or
good
two,
example.
Man, they gave him, he was vanilla.
Right.
But it's just what he had to work with.
Yeah.
Now he's been quarterback for about 3 weeks to a month now.
They've opened it up.
And look how he is.
Yeah, that's all he needed.
Yeah.
He just needed to get his feet wet. Yeah. But okay, so this nails my point that I made earlier. That if they would have put Drew Lock in, being the backup, if they would have put him in earlier, he would have had his feet would have been wet, and now these games they could open up the playbook because there is still in the hunt for the playoffs.
Yep.
But now his feet, this is a heck of a game to get his feet wet,
Right.
So you still can't really open the whole playbook up to him. Now next game you might, the next two games, Tennessee and the Steelers, but
you got no choice. You might as well. I mean, what's the point?
Sink or swim. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right. What's going on with the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh boy.
Is it overreaction Monday? I say that it is overreaction Monday. You
in the instance of explain that what you mean by overreaction Monday.
Well, the overreaction is everybody's saying, of course. Now we know the jokes. I mean, anytime the Cowboys lose, they're going to be joked about.
Right.
But the fact that, Skip goes on his little rant, calling them fraudulent, this, that, and the other, that's a little overboard.
Okay. So I understand because you're going by the comment I made and I.
No, your comments was cool.
No, I know, but you're going by that, asking me the question to see what do I think about it.
Right.
And my thing is that I wouldn't call them fraudulent because they're still the team that they are, but I could say
There's some question marks.
I could just say they're a 2.0 Dolphins right now because the Dolphins play against a tough team, and what do?
Lose.
They shrivel up and lose. But when they play a team that they're supposed to beat up on, they whip up on them.
Right.
And
except for Tennessee somehow.
Right. Tennessee, got
There's
us.
always that one game.
Right.
You got no business losing.
Exactly. But Tennessee plays them hard every year. Like every team has a team that plays them hard every year for some odd reason. It used to be the Rams for the Seahawks. Now they got both the Rams and the 49ers. But
Cardinals.
For the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not going to say they're frauds. I'm just going to say that let me ask you a question about the Dallas Cowboys and see if you know the answer, because I do. How many playoff games have they won in the last, I think it's the last 30 years?
2.
1.
They beat us.
Divisionals, divisionals, not just playoffs, but divisionals. They've won in the last 30 years. They've won 1 to make. It's like, wow, I didn't realize it was that bad. So you look at them and you say, okay, they've gotten better, but it's like they're the team that they get you there, and then what do? We know teams like this. They get you there, you're all happy, you're like, oh yeah, we're at it, and then what happens?
Chargers.
Yeah, boom.
Super fraud.
Yeah, but as far as the Dallas Cowboys, I just don't think they're frauds. I think this next game it's a telltale because we got Dolphins playing the Dallas, and then the Ravens are playing
next Monday night. Ravens at San Francisco.
Those are 2 huge games for both. It's gonna be the telltale sign because somebody's the dominant team is gonna step up and the other team's gonna crumble.
Well, as far as the Dallas Cowboys and Miami Dolphins, the fraudulent vibe will probably go away with whoever wins, because you figure both teams are kind of like mirror images of each other right now.
Right.
Because neither team can beat a team that's worth a damn.
Right.
Except actually, Dallas did beat Philly last week.
Right.
So that kind of. But it's at home.
Dallas just can't win on the road, right?
Yeah, they can't beat a good team, and they can't beat a good team on the road.
Right.
Miami just can't beat a good team, period.
Right.
Right now.
Exactly.
They have. I don't know who they beat.
They were darn close to beating the Eagles, but the Eagles are like they're riding that they're in between that
break. They bend but don't break.
Right. They're just in between, and they're like they're not super dominant and they're not super weak. They're just in between, and it's like. I'm going to tell you something. After watching the Ravens game yesterday against Jacksonville, if Jacksonville had a decent quarterback, they could have beat them. I'm talking about they were in the red zone 3 times and didn't score a point.
Yeah, we know all about that.
Yes.
Yeah, Seahawks were in Cincinnati Bengals red zone 4 times in that second half.
You know who
he nothing to show for.
You know who he reminds me of? Tannehill.
Right, Tannehill.
He reminds me of Tannehill because Tannehill would get the team and get you all excited.
Now, let me ask you this.
Okay.
When you Trevor Lawrence, we're talking about.
Right. I'm sorry. I should have said his name. I'm sorry.
When he got so-called hurt a couple of weeks ago, he hadn't been the same since.
No, he hasn't.
So what's the deal? Is he hurt, or is he just having a bad time right now? Is he in a slump?
He looks like he's not hurt that bad because he was running and he was throwing. I think he's just not. I've watched him several games and he doesn't have the touch. And what I mean by that, he can throw the ball. Don't get me wrong.
He can gun it, yeah.
But he just can't like drop it into a player. Like, okay, say it's a quick slant in, right? He's firing the ball like a rocket, and a lot of times the receivers they can't catch it.
Too hot.
Too hot. and it
Or
might
too
be
high.
a little bit too high and hot, or just right, but it's too hot, right?
Mhm.
Or the guy might be running it down and out, and he's firing it, and it's just too hot. And I'm every play, and I'm like, if he took a little bit off, it would, especially for running backs.
You know what takes care of that?
What's that?
Film study.
Yeah, bench too.
Yes, good point. I like that.
Yeah, but no, you're right. You're right.
They're not benching him.
No, just
That ain't
like
gonna happen.
just like Kyler Murray though with the Arizona. If he would study films, and he could be a lot better player, man. Justin Fields. You keep going on.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. But anyway, I'm going off your path, but I just don't think Dallas is frauds. I just think
I don't think
I just
so
think I think that game yesterday, the Buffalo Bills were in serious desperation mode. They knew if they lost that game,
it was over.
With Miami beating the Jets, they said if we lose this game,
it's over.
We're out.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're gonna, from here on out, they know they're in desperation mode, which helps out sometimes, but sometimes it makes you do things when you start trying too hard. You know, when you get in a tough game. But if you look at their schedule, I think they got the weakest schedule in the last 3 games of the season, so it should be a cakewalk for them.
But you know, I like the way people are talking on the radio. They're talking about, well, if there's one team I don't want to see in the playoffs, it's Buffalo.
Right.
No, that's the team I want to see.
Right.
Because listen, history is there for a reason.
Exactly.
Right? And Buffalo does nothing to scare me.
Right.
Regular season or playoffs.
I'll give you another example. I'd love to play Dallas in the playoffs, because what do they do every year? They get when they have gotten to the playoffs. What do?
Lose.
They choke. It's like they got the playoff jinx on them. I don't know what it is, you know. And
well, they usually play well at home.
They do,
but then when they go out on the road, it's over.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
but
Buffalo, I don't care if it's home or away. You know, when they get in the playoffs, you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
and you know, listen, let's just talk about Josh Allen real quick.
Okay,
the guy's great. I get that for the most part.
Right.
But I'm tired of hearing about, well, he's probably the number 1 quarterback in the league right now, or he's Rex Ryan said he's one of the best he's ever seen. Blah blah blah. Listen. The best you ever seen ain't going to be 0-6 in overtime.
Right.
And he's going to win every big game.
Right.
He's lost every big game they've been in, folks. Every single one of them. You can look it up if you want to.
Right. It's there.
But every big game he's been in the playoffs and they had to win, he lost.
Yep.
So he might be good enough to get him there, but is he great enough to get you over the hump? And right now, the answer is no.
Right.
And I want to say the same thing about Justin Herbert. I'm tired of hearing about how great Justin Herbert is.
Right.
What's the Chargers record right now? 5-9.
Right.
Okay. And Justin Herbert was there for most of that.
Yes.
So I'm tired of hearing about that. You know, how good he is. He's good.
Yes.
But he don't have, you know, listen, he's got weapons. So what's the problem?
Coach. And
exactly.
Coaching.
Yeah. But you know what? He ain't who he think he is. Who they think he is.
Who name your top 5 quarterbacks right now in the league?
Ooh.
Right now.
Okay, right now.
Top 5. As of today.
Okay, Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is no order.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not
naming names.
Right.
Purdy, Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say Lamar
is
a top 5 quarterback
Mm-hmm.
right there. And that's the 3 great teams right there.
Right. Right.
Well, Kansas City hasn't been as great as normal, but look, they won, they Super Bowl defending.
It's not Patrick Mahomes' fault that they've been losing.
It sure ain't,
Mm-hmm.
because he's got some terrible receivers.
Right.
I mean,
what receivers?
Well, yeah, they're awful. I don't know what they got for hands.
Right.
They ain't got they ain't got no fingers on them.
Hands for feet.
Yeah.
Feet for
they
hands.
got nothing but palms.
Right.
But those 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you want to throw in Josh Allen, all right, I'll give you that.
Okay.
And then the 5th one, you probably have to put in Dak or Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Yeah. But the last 2, you got to kind of think.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, well, you know.
Right.
So you know.
What about golf?
No, he's not. He's
balling out.
He's in the 10, but he ain't in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just throwing that.
And plus Detroit, man, you know, they're 10-4.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with Detroit is they've lost. They're 10-4. They've lost 3 games they had no business losing.
Right.
They should be. What? 12-1.
Right.
No.
No,
13-1.
Mm-hmm.
They should be 13-1. 13-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you that question in your top 5 because then that gives you an idea of what quarterbacks are in that great.
And of course, there's going to be people say, "Well, what about Tua?" Right?
Or what about the Rams quarterbacks? You know, Matthew.
Yeah. What about
you know,
Matt?
there are always going to be those what about.
Absolutely.
But you know, and I agree with your list.
But the key phrase is right now.
Right now. Yeah, that list can change in a blink of.
It does change. It changes
every week.
It changes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least every couple of weeks.
Right.
You know, you figure out now. You know, right now, Dak Prescott last week was the MVP favorite.
Right.
This week, what? Nothing, because that's what happens.
That
The
happens.
NFL is what? Week to week.
Yeah, Purdy was up there in the MVP talk, and then they lost 3 games in a row, and then even longtime fans were like, "Oh no, here we go!" And then he snapped out of it.
He snapped out, and
that's the signs of being a great quarterback.
Yeah, and he's been balling ever since.
That's right.
So he's back in the mix.
That's right.
You know,
I thought you said Gino was up. No, I'm just.
Yeah, okay. Gino, right? I don't think so.
Right. But we'll see. We'll see, because like you just said, it's week to week, and these last 3 weeks are going to be crucial for every team, because there's to me, I think there's one. The 49ers right now are playing like the super dominant team, but all the other teams are just playing. They're balling, but they're not super dominant. They got their holes and their weaknesses. So these last 3 games they're going to either sink or swim. I keep saying that we're going to find out after this weekend and the next weekend what it's going to really be an eye opener.
Yeah. For
the NFL, that is.
Yeah. It's too early. Look, December is too early to tell who's going to be deep into the playoffs. You think but then the playoffs start and you find out you don't know.
You don't.
Because everybody, I'm on the 49ers bandwagon, right? As far as who I think who we'll see in late January, early February.
Right.
But man, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tripped them up, because that's what happens.
My dad used to love him. I even gave my Jerry Rice jersey to Sam McGee because I don't root for him. I mean, I do if I like him, but I never wore it. So I gave it to Sam because he's a diehard 49er fan since we've been kids.
So, and that, so you feel good giving it to him.
Right.
Not some bandwagon dude.
Right. Sam's not good.
We won't mention any names. But,
right. I know. Yes. Yeah, we won't do that. Not on the air.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't care, I would, but I do care a little.
So being that this is the last show until after the college playoffs, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what you got, man?
So what you think? I'm hearing a lot of. Have you seen some of the polls that people have been putting up? It's like Oregon's not even in it, and some of the college teams are not even in it, and they're ranking them. And it's like, get over it. They've got the top 4 teams in it right now. Yep. Talk about that.
Yes.
And so the Huskies play Texas.
Yes.
And they beat them last year.
Yep.
It's pretty much the same team except for Texas, but not for the Huskies.
Right.
And I think with this rest, the Huskies at full strength can go toe to toe with anybody.
Yeah, I do too.
And
they got a chance to heal up from whatever injuries they had.
Yep. And Texas got 2 players that are gonna slated to go high in the draft. One's a receiver and one's a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And
the secondary is
suspect. And the Huskies have 2 players that are slated to go high in the draft. Receiver and
right.
And Penix. But And then we got Alabama and Michigan. What do you think about that game?
You know, if Alabama can contain those two running backs from Michigan, it's going to be a long day for them.
For Alabama?
For Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
If they can't run,
right,
they are in trouble.
Yes.
Because McCarthy's okay,
right,
but he ain't no gunslinger.
No.
He's got that run game. Them guys, man, Corum and I think Edwards, I think. Man, them cats can run. You know, they can each get 100 yards.
Right.
That, you know, so if Alabama locks them up, they're done. Michigan is done.
And it's a possibility because with this much time off, you've given Nick Saban and his crew enough time to put together a heck of a game plan. And we'll see though, you know, and just like you said, for the Huskies in the Texas, the Texas's secondary is very suspect, and they're going against the top receiving and quarterback duo in the NCAA.
But the Huskies need to run the ball too.
Oh, and
Dylan Johnson's got to get off.
I think he will. I remember one game me and you were talking about it, and I said you said they need to win this game, Carter, and I'm like, man, I think Dylan Johnson's gonna have a heck of a game, right? And what did he do? He went out there and over 100 yards, and that's what they need.
Over 200 against USC.
Exactly, and that's what they need. That's exactly what they need.
Well, they're gonna need a strong running. He needs to get 80 to 100. I think.
I think he will too.
And then I don't see how and as long as we hang on to the ball,
right?
I don't see how they're gonna stop our receivers. We got 3 NFL receivers.
Exactly, and a good tight end.
Yeah. Yes,
and I think you're spot on, and I think what's going to happen is the O-line's going to they're going to play their hearts out. Yeah, they're going to play their hearts out though. I really guarantee that.
Penix upright.
That's right.
Not running around.
Open up holes for Dylan Johnson to be running through, and clock management, and I think it's going to happen, and I think why is because if you look at a lot of the media and a lot of the things that are going out, they're still saying how the Huskies are weak and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And that's feeding fuel to the fire. Keep doing that.
Yeah, please.
Every game, every week, that's what you guys did to the Huskies, and they came out and proved you wrong. Keep doing it.
Yep. I'm all for that. And then, of course, Penix not winning the Heisman might give him a little.
I said that when me and you were talking because you called it out that Jaden was going to win, Daniels was going to win. And I was saying, and I asked you the question, I said, would you rather Penix won the Heisman and the Huskies lose to Texas?
No.
Or would you rather Penix not get the Heisman and the Huskies go all the way and get the national championship?
Day. Take that second.
Easy money. I know. I'm just saying that's how you have to think. And so when he didn't get it, and there's still a lot of people, I'm talking about pro players, and college players or coaches and stuff that are saying that Penix should have won it. So he's hearing that.
Yep.
And with him hearing that, he's going to be like, okay, they're backing me.
But I also hope it doesn't
backfire
go the other way.
Right.
Whereas he puts so much pressure.
Tries too hard
to prove that he is who he is.
Right.
So I don't want him to do that.
I agree. I
just want him to play the ball that he's been playing.
Yes.
Right. Hit Odunze, hit Culp, hit McMillan, hit
whoever.
Yeah. Westover.
Right.
So I want them cats, man, to catch that ball, Dylan Johnson to run that ball.
Yes.
And I want Washington to beat Texas, and then whoever we play after that, I could care less, Michigan or Alabama.
Right.
But I'll take care of either one.
So I'd like to say this real quick, and I know we're getting ready to go off the air. I'd like to tell everybody out there, we appreciate you so much. Have a blessed Christmas and a blessed 2024. Be safe.
Yes. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. And we will see you January 8th, 2024.